Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome back to Two Moms in a Pod. I'm Ari.
I'm Steph.
And today we're going to talk about postpartum.
Yes, a very sensitive topic.
Yeah, but it's something that's not talked about much until like recently. They just kind of sort of talked about it, but they still don't share everything that goes on after.
Yeah.
And it's scary that, I mean, it's sad that people don't talk about it and inform other people, because that way at least it gives other people a heads up of like what to expect, you know?
Yeah, and it's just like you don't hear you when you're pregnant, you don't hear about it at all. Or no, you really don't hear about it when you're pregnant. Or you don't really even hear like growing up, I never heard anyone talk about postpartum. I never heard anyone like this or that. And it's sad because there's like different types of postpartum.
Yeah.
There's there's the postpartum rage, anxiety. There's the postpartum psychosis.
Which one's that one?
That's like, you know supposedly the Cocomelon.
Yeah.
How they say supposedly it was with that family that was in Colorado or something. That the mom killed like her 2 kids or something.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Supposedly she had postpartum psychosis. I hope this is the right one I'm talking about. If not, it might be a different one. But yeah, so pretty much, so postpartum psychosis is they like don't know who they are, and they kind of like change, like
so
completely.
They have
like they need to be monitored, and that's how, if it's the right one, that supposedly she had that, and that's why she killed her 2 kids or something. I might be the wrong one, or it might be another one, and she killed someone else. Like she pretty much the husband left, and she left. The husband left to the store, and he shouldn't have, and he knew that because she had postpartum psychosis, and that something triggered her to just like, kill her babies. And it sucks because she can't control it because it's a hormonal imbalance in your mind.
But did she know at the moment when she was doing it? No?
Yeah.
That's scary. I did not know about that one.
Yeah, there's that. I hope it's the right one, but I know there's a story on that. I think it's in Colorado that happened. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is. But that's what postpartum psychosis is when they have that, you can't, or when you hear stories about moms that they drowned their baby, they don't even realize that they're doing that. Yeah, until after they're just like, oh damn, like what did I just do to my baby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so sad and scary.
Yeah.
I just recently learned about postpartum rage.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing until after, and I'm like,
you're like, I had that.
Yeah. I'm like, I think I still have that. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, like, it's so crazy that to learn like how many like postpartum effects you can get, Yeah. Like I didn't know this one that you just told me about.
Yeah.
And then I just recently learned about postpartum rage, and I briefly knew about, postpartum depression when I had it, but I only learned about it because my doctor told me about it. But other than that, I wouldn't have known anything about it.
It's crazy because like with me, I was happy, like I said before, that our pregnancy was just like a surprise, you're pregnant. Yeah. And I was happy. Like, either ways, it was just a surprise. I was happy to be pregnant. I was so excited. I was already ready. Even when we found out when Max was a boy, like, I wanted a boy.
Yeah.
And like everyone kept telling us, what do you want? I was like, just a healthy baby. But deep down inside, I was like, no,
I want a boy.
I want my baby boy.
Yeah.
And, I got my baby boy. And like, my whole pregnancy, I was happy. I was excited. I was ready. And it sucks because the minute I had Max, I felt detached.
Detached?
Yeah. Like, I know I loved him or I love him, but like, something switched the minute I was in the hospital.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And it was just kind of like, oh, like when he came out, he wasn't breathing a little bit, and they like got him to breathe. Like it didn't take him a long time, but it did take like not right away. He didn't cry right away. Like I don't know what they did because I was already like,
tired.
Yeah. And then I remember asking Adrian, like, is he okay? Because I didn't hear him. And then after I heard him, after I said that. But even then, like, I felt weird. And, like, I know people say, like, baby blues.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and that's the sad part is, I'm already going to get emotional. There's a few people who did reach out to me. And they're like, oh, like, how are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I guess I kind of did ask for help. But without asking for help, I was kind of like, oh, like, this is how I feel. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. And they're like, oh, it's just baby blues. You'll get over it in like 3 weeks. You'll get over it in a month. And I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
3 weeks passed. A month's passed. A few months more passed. And I was just kind of like, oh, it's still baby blues. But it wasn't. It wasn't baby blues. It was postpartum depression.
Yeah.
And that's when I went to my checkup with my doctor. And I told him everything, and then, like, I literally started, like, crying. And he was just like, you're suffering through postpartum depression. And then I was just like, I thought it was baby blues. Like, and I didn't know. And it was a wake-up call with Adrian, because, like, he would tell me, he would be like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, something's wrong with you. Like, I don't know what it is. And I was just kind of like, oh, like, I really need to go get this checked out. And he's even telling me, like, something's wrong with you. So it's hard.
It is hard. I didn't have it that bad because I know you had to be on medication, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't, thankfully, but they gave me that option and I didn't want to go that route because I just didn't want to depend on medication. And I've heard that when you take your medication, it just makes you feel like numb.
Yeah.
Like, it just makes you feel like nothing, basically.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I just heard stories and I'm just like, I don't want to feel like that towards my child. And if I could overcome this with just therapy, then I'll do that. But if I don't see that it's helping, then, I'll go the other route, which is medication.
Yeah, and that's what well, I think a lot had to do with, and that's how I felt. Like, I was with Max, and, like, I felt so numb. Even without the before the medication and even with it, I felt numb. Like, I just...
Like, you didn't have any
feelings.
I
didn't have any feeling. I was just, like... It's sad because there's times where I was so, like... I was so tired and so, like... Oh, my God. Like, there is, like, thoughts where I was, like... I would think and be, like... What can I do to make this baby stop crying?
Yeah.
Like, I was literally picturing, like, I could just put the blanket over his head and just not hear him anymore. Yeah.
That bad. Oh my God.
It was that bad. And I finally told Adrian, and he was just like, no, something's wrong with you. He was like, you need to go seek help. And I was just kind of like, oh, I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. And, yeah, and just, I think once I actually went to go talk to my doctor and my OB and told them everything that was going on, was more when mine and Adrian's relationship were going through, like, a rough patch because of it.
Yeah.
So, like, the way I'm clingy to an extent.
Yeah.
And during postpartum, I was kind of more, like... Distant. I was very, like, don't talk to me kind of thing, But not only that, I was very toxic. Like, my self-esteem was just not there either.
Yeah.
And he's part of, this car thing or whatever, the car community.
Yeah.
So I know a whole bunch of girls would message him, and it was never ever, like, about anything, like, off. It was just, like, about car stuff.
Yeah.
And that was even before I got pregnant. So I was, like, never, like, afraid or anything. But any girl that would message him, like, I would blow up on him. And, like, I would be like, why are you, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, this girl's messaging you, this and that. And that was just my self-esteem. Because all of it, going on. So that's when, like, when I finally went to go talk to someone, when I finally like actually talked to him about it and how I felt, and like that's when he kind of took it upon himself. Well, a lot of it had to do too is just I wouldn't ask for help, and I should have.
Yeah.
Like I should have been like, you know what, like not even in the sense of I needed to talk to someone, more of a sense of like if I needed him to take Max a bath at this time, or if I needed like little things, or I needed him to help me clean up the room, like stuff like that. I never asked for it, and I should have.
So you wouldn't ask for like extra help when it came to like your you time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's how I was too. In the beginning, I wasn't very dependent on him, and I didn't want him to do a lot of the work. Like I felt like I had to do it, and I could do it all on my own. And in reality, you can't. Like you need that break, and you even taking a 15-minute shower is your you time, like away from the baby. And it's kind of sad to say it that you need time away from the baby, but you need it to feel like yourself again. And it took a lot of work for me to like ask for help from Ricky to help me with chores, or like even with Leah, because I don't know, I felt like as a mom, that's your job, to take care of your baby 100%.
And I think us being in a Hispanic culture, we were raised, the women was in charge of the baby. The women were in charge of the cleaning and cooking. It was never the men. It was never, you would never see like your parents, or not necessarily your parents. You would never see your dad changing your kids, their diaper. Own baby's diaper or anything like that. And a lot of that has changed now, because like nowadays, like our generation, I guess you can say, like the guys are more hands-on.
Yeah.
And it's a like, and which I'm grateful for, because oh my god. And in that sense, it sucks. It honestly, it's not only for the women postpartum, it's also for the men. Like
I feel like they go through a change as well, and I'm assuming it's hard for them to see us suffering, well, not suffering, but like struggling, and then for them not to be able to do something to help, like they could do so minimal.
They feel very like
helpless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, like it's just women, just like people just think about the women, but you also have to think about, for the ones who have that man in their life that's able to help. Like they see us change, and they're just kind of like, oh damn, like what can I do?
Yeah.
But then we're over here like, you can't do nothing. Just kidding. But it's true. It sucks. It sucks.
It does. I wanted to cover some of the questions you have here, because they're really good questions. So you mentioned postpartum anxiety. I know that happened with me. Like at the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm gonna take Leah out. I'm gonna go on walks around the neighborhood. I'm still gonna go to the grocery store, run my errands. All that changed as soon as I got home. I would not go out by myself at all. I had to wait for Ricky to be there, because I felt like something could have happened, which is very, very unlikely. But I felt like something could have happened to me. Like either someone could have came and taken Leah away from me, or the both of us, or anything, like I just thought the worst, and my anxiety was just really, really bad. Like I said, I couldn't go out at all by myself. I would always wait for Ricky to get home, and even that's the only time that I would go on walks with Leah. It was the only time I would take her to her doctor's appointment, or to my own appointments, or even grocery shopping. And it took I feel like it took a huge part of my life in the very beginning.
Well, not only that, like with you, you have a girl, you have a baby girl.
Yeah.
And that's even a bigger target for you guys. Like I have a son, and I know just me and Max are a target, but it's scary. Like for a while I was like that too, not when Max was a little bit older and I started seeing all these things, like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, like, this is too much. And it got to the point where I was just kind of like, I told Adrian, I was like, I don't want to go to the store no more by myself, you know, but I got over it. But especially with you, like, I didn't have that when Max was a newborn. Like, I would literally just go out with him.
Yeah.
But, you know, with you, it's understandable because, well,
We're both
anyone,
girls, yeah.
yeah, both of you guys are girls and you're both vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know, like, they're like, oh, that's a lucky target. They're
Yeah.
both two girls.
Yeah.
There's a baby and the other one, you know, like that. It's scary.
Yeah, and then not only that, but like you yourself are also recovering, so you're not at your full strength. So you already feel weak, you know, physically, and then mentally you're like you feel like you can't do it. So it's like you feel more vulnerable and you feel like you're more of a target because you're weak physically and mentally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you were also talking about how you were completely fine throughout your whole pregnancy.
Yeah.
For me, I got it in the beginning, like towards, I want to say, the second trimester. I was already feeling it. It wasn't bad, but I just felt kind of detached from my husband, from Ricky, and I felt like, I don't know, I just felt very lonely throughout my whole pregnancy. And I don't know if it had to do with the fact that I wouldn't go out as much and I would just stay at home all the time. And even when I would be with my family, I wouldn't feel, I don't know, I just felt very, very lonely.
Yeah.
Throughout my whole pregnancy, like starting like from the second trimester through after I had her, like I felt like I was doing it all by myself and I had no one, and I felt like no one understood how I felt at that time.
Yeah.
And when I would try to talk to my mom about it, she would again say it was the baby blues and that it would, you know, go away. And Ricky had also mentioned it because there would be times where I would literally cry out of nowhere for no reason. And he would tell me, like, are you having the baby blues? And I was just like, I don't know, maybe. And I just brushed it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then after, I think it was Leah's like third or fourth appointment, when her doctor talked to me and she was asking me like how did I feel, and then she's the one that told me to seek help because I was showing signs of postpartum depression. And that's when I finally got the help and I did the therapy, and it took me a while to finally overcome it, but it helped and it worked. I was just like having flashbacks, but I know for the longest it was hard to ask for help and to acknowledge the fact that something was wrong with me.
Yeah.
And it's hard to admit it, especially because you just became a mom and you feel like you're not allowed to feel that way because you're a mom and the baby depends on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just, I think the biggest thing with postpartum is that a lot of the times people don't even see it.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't not like the women themselves, like the mom themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's people around them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with me, I don't know if I don't think anyone really noticed besides my aunt. She said she did notice.
Mm-hmm.
And then Adrian, because he's around me all the time.
Yeah.
And the one I was always going off on was him.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, if you really, if there's ever a mom or any of your mom friends, it's nice to just reach out to them and be like,
yeah.
Hey,
like how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Like, just check in on them. And sometimes they'll just tell you, oh, I'm okay, or they'll say, oh, I'm just tired. Ask more questions.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the times even us as women will be in denial.
Yeah.
that were going through it. Um, but yeah, like always ask, check in on them, and be that friend and reach out to them.
Yeah.
hmm Um, yeah, cause I don't even think I told Kim about it until like after I got the help, and she would always check in on me, and she would always tell me like, you got this, you're okay. She was always there for me.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I wouldn't tell her.
Yeah, and I think a lot is just like you're kind of like you feel. Well, I kind of felt like because I felt this way, I wasn't a good enough mom,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what it is. Also,
Yeah.
it's like, well, I'm feeling this way, and I shouldn't be this way,
Mm-hmm.
or like I would like I'm not gonna lie, like I would be jealous of other people that would just like, oh, like oh I had a baby and
They're all happy.
yeah,
They're
but
bonding.
But at the same time, you can't look at that because, like, I would post stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, I would post stuff and I would post that I was always happy, I was always
Mm-hmm.
with my baby, but in reality,
You're
like,
going through a whole
I was
different
going
thing.
through a whole nother thing,
Mm-hmm.
like, that no one knew.
Yeah.
And I didn't really even talk about it until after.
Yeah.
Until even at work, I know there's one of a really good coworker that I've been talking to for a while now. Like, she was going through it, well, through pregnancy at the moment. She's still pregnant, but it's because, she felt alone,
Mm-hmm.
like her baby daddy's just a deadbeat. Like,
Yeah.
it was just, and hers was just, like, literally a surprise. Like, she literally just left them. Like, she had left them a month, and then a month later, she had found out she was pregnant.
Oh
So it was
my
one of those
God.
things where, like, she had other kids, and I would tell her, I'm like, dude, like, you got to think about your other kids. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you really want your kids to see how, this man treats you.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have to think about them too.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was going, and then that's when a month later she found out, and she was going through it. And now I talked to her, and I was like, let's go do something,
Mm-hmm.
before baby comes. Let's go here, let's go there.
Yeah.
Like, there will be times after work we get VTO and go home early.
Mm-hmm.
We don't go home. I'm like, let's go to Denny's. They're open 24 hours. Let's go here. Like, let's go have, dinner or breakfast at 3 in the morning. And we'll do that. Or I'll offer her, like, hey, you want boba? Like, what's baby craving today?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell her, and I talk to her a lot. And I'm like, even after the baby, like, just talk to me. I'm like, you'll be okay. I'm like, I promise. Just talk to me.
Yeah, I think that's what I needed. I needed a friend to go out with and remind me that I'm still a person, even after becoming a mom. And I didn't really have that because my only friend is Kim, and I'm not blaming her, but she has her kid.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna have two now, but she's busy too with her own life. And I would have other friends, but those friends weren't parents, so they didn't understand what I was going through. And I think they thought that now that I'm a parent, I'm not allowed to go out. I don't know, but I've noticed that once you become pregnant, like all these friends that don't have kids or don't have a significant other just kind of drop you because they think that you're no longer fun just because you're a mom.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
It is. Like, my nail tech, she had a baby. He's already gonna turn 1, and like I have not gotten my nails done in like a year. Literally April's gonna be a year. So I recently went for Valentine's Day, and I was talking to her, and she's like, it hasn't been a while. Like, where have you been? And I was like, I've just been busy.
Yeah.
And I asked her, and like I was talking to her, and I was like, so like, how are you? Are you okay? Like, how was postpartum? And she told me she had it for a little bit too, cause she was like lonely. And then I told her, I was like, did your friend stop? Or she was telling me about something about her friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, did you lose a lot of friends because you became pregnant? And she's like, I did. And I realized who my true friends are.
Yeah.
And it was the same with me. Like, I had supposedly, friends, but, they're going out clubbing every weekend and stuff like that. And I invited some of them to the baby shower, which I understand it was COVID and all that, and it was just a drive-by baby shower. Like, it wasn't an actual baby shower. But even then, like, after, I understand if they didn't, but even after, a lot of them didn't really, like, ask me how I was doing, except for two friends who I invited to the baby shower, and these are high school friends. I invited them to the baby shower. They came. They dropped them off. When I had Max, they messaged me, asked me, like, how I was doing and stuff like that. And then I invited them to Max's first birthday, and they went too. So, like, and I invited a few other people, and they didn't show up. But my two friends that I was like, wow, like, out of everybody, I know they're my real two friends.
Yeah.
Even if now, like, they're busy doing their own thing, like, they'll come and they're like, hey, like, they'll invite me places and stuff like that. Even if I don't go, I still get invited.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you do find out who your true friends are.
Yeah. It's sad that it takes pregnancy to find out who your real friends are, but it's true. It's really true that once you become a parent, like, all these friends start disappearing magically. Yeah. It's sad.
Yeah. How was your relationship with Ricky?
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. Well, like I mentioned, I had it while I was pregnant, and I felt lonely, and he would be working a lot of overtime, and it was during summer, so there was a lot of overtime available. And we would just constantly argue because he was getting home late, and I'd be like, dude, like, you're leaving me here alone. And I don't know, I just felt very, very lonely. And I would argue with him about him working overtime. And I understand why he was doing it. You know, he wanted to provide more for us, especially because Leah was coming. He wanted to have more, you know, he wanted to be financially stable and have extra money in case anything did happen, and that extra money to provide for Leah's things. So I understood that part, but it was just not connecting. And I was just always mad and upset that he would be working all the time, and I wanted him home with me. And then after I had Leah, once we went back home, I would always be arguing with him because he wouldn't help me with the dishes, or he wouldn't help me change her diaper, and he would be playing his video games. And I wasn't like that before. Like, before, we had like a system, like, okay, you help me with the dishes, and once we're done with chores, you know, you could do whatever you want. But once Leah was home, I would kind of argue with him over like everything, like the littlest things too. And I think he hated me for a good while because I'm pretty sure life was miserable after going home with Leah. And that's when I decided, okay, like, I need the help, because it was affecting our marriage, and I wanted our marriage to last, and I didn't want our marriage to end just because we had a baby. And I didn't want Leah to think that our marriage ended because of her. You know what I mean? So that was the biggest reason why I wanted to continue to get the help, because I didn't want the marriage to end.
Hey, and give us props to that, because there's a lot of couples who don't survive that postpartum stage.
No.
And it takes both. Like, it sucks that, you know, some men do not stay there for the woman. And they're just like, you know what, you're just being a bitch. Like,
and they just leave.
Literally. Yeah. Like, I was listening, it was a couple weeks ago. There's times where I put podcasts on, and we're in the car, and Adrian's in the car, you know, so we're driving somewhere. Spill the beans. They're asking, like, questions, like, were they too young to get married or something like that? And one of the questions, or they were asking for, someone was asking for advice. Yeah. Someone said, oh, I'm 4 months postpartum. My husband or her boyfriend or something, like, has been saying, like, I've been bitchy lately, blah, blah, blah. And, like, Jonathan, it's Jonathan and Blanca.
Mm-hmm.
And Jonathan, like, literally said, dude, like, tell your husband or put this on for your husband and say que se, excuse my language, but que se mara un huevo, because, like, he wasn't the one who, you know, had to spread their legs and their private parts, like, stretch 10 centimeters. Like, he literally said, like, he needs to man up and let it be. Like, he needs to go do extra stuff because they weren't the ones that had to, their whole body changed, like, hormone wise, everything, like physically, mentally, everything. And he literally said that. He was just like, your husband just needs to man up because it's only 4 months. He told him, he's like, it's only 4 months. Like, come on, you know, you'll get over it, and don't even worry about 4 months postpartum.
Yeah.
Like, you're barely at the start of it. You know. And I'm happy that I tried and I talked, and I think I didn't go to therapy. I should have, but I didn't. But I'm still considering on going now, just to, like, have someone to talk to.
Yeah.
But just after going and the doctor prescribing me depression pills, I took them. But after a while, Adrian was kind of like, I don't like you taking them. And I know he's like, he told me, I suggest you not to take them because I don't want you to feel like you have to rely on them. And I took his word on it. I was just like, okay, I won't take them. And I stopped taking them. And ever since then, after that, I would just talk to him. And I, like, occasionally, like, I don't know if you ask Ricky, like, I'll occasionally go up to Adrian and be like, how's life? And he'll be like, huh? And I was like, yeah, babe, like, how's life? How are you doing?
Yeah.
And, like, it's just, like, a checkup, you know? Yeah. And he'll tell me, and if something's going on, or, like, he feels a certain way, or I'll tell him how I'm feeling, and be like, oh, I've been feeling this recently. Like, we literally have little checkups, like, out of nowhere. I'm just like, hey, babe, how's life going? And he's like, oh, it's going good now. And I was like, okay, you know? And that's why I'm happy. Like, you know, you too, like, you and Ricky were able to, people get divorced because of that. So you guys surpassed that, and I think that's a win. And, like, after that, for the most part, it goes good.
Yeah. I don't do checkups with Ricky. I think I tried it once, and he thought it was weird. And he was like, okay, like, why do you want to talk about this? Like, we talk all the time. I'm like, yeah, but, like, you don't tell me, like, how you're really feeling, or, like, he'll tell me his day at work, but he won't tell me, like, you know, like, other things that's going on, you know? And I tried doing that, but then he was just, like, weirded out. And I'm like, okay, I guess I won't try it again.
Yeah.
But no, I think we should have that, because sometimes I don't tell him everything that I'm thinking. I don't tell him everything that's going on. Like, I'll tell him things that happened at work or throughout the day, but I don't tell him, like, hey, I'm stressing out because of this. Or, hey, I had a really good day because of this, you know? Yeah. And I think it is important to have that within a couple, because it's just nice to check in on them, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think I saw a TikTok about it. Like, it's beneficial for the relationship, because you get to talk to each other, like, on a whole other level.
Yeah.
And it just makes the relationship stronger.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned it once to my aunt, well, to Christy, and she was like, it's good. You're just, you know, reassuring yourselves, like, you know, you're okay.
Yeah.
It's nice to check up. Yeah. And the first time I did it with Adrian too, he was just kind of like, I'm fine. Like, but I just kept doing it randomly. I'm like, and then I think one time he asked me, he's like, why do you do that? I was like, I just want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
Like, mentally, you know, physically, I just want to make sure you're fine. So.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do that more often with Ricky until he gets a clue that we're going to do them often.
How do you feel like you're now after passing all that?
I feel good. You know, I think it's normal that there are days where I just feel like shit. But, you know, I think it's normal. It's nothing compared how it used to be. But for the most part, I feel good. But I think knowing what I went through scares me to have the second one. only because I don't know if it will be double.
Yeah.
Like twice as worst as it was the first time, and if it'll be the same thing getting it while I'm pregnant and after I'm having Leah.
That's the only thing that sucks is that I think the girl who takes Max's pictures, like all his pictures,
Yeah.
she told me the first pregnancy, it went by easy. Like,
Yeah.
she had no postpartum, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The second one she did have postpartum. So even my doctor told me to not be afraid, not be scared to get pregnant. Now that I know what postpartum is, the second time around, it'll be a lot better.
Like, you'll be more aware.
I'll be more aware. And he also did say that it's a 50-50 chance. He's like, he told me straight up. He was like, you know what? Like, even if you have another baby, you might not even have postpartum.
Oh.
He's like, it's not, every pregnancy is different.
Yeah.
And it's true when they say every pregnancy is different.
Yeah.
So that's why I was scared at first because of that. And so was Adrian. And he did tell me, he was like, what I'm afraid of is going through postpartum again.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I talked to my OB about it, he was just kind of like, well, it's a 50-50 shot. But it might be even better because you'll know what to look out for.
Yeah.
Adrian knows what to look out for. So right away, if he sees something, he's like, hey, you need to go get help right away.
Yeah.
Like, before it's too late. Or I might not even feel anything at all. And I'll feel what I wanted to feel my first pregnancy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a risk you gotta take.
Yeah.
Literally. So it's just after he told me that, that's when I felt better about having another baby. But for the longest time, I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to go through that again.
No. Yeah, that's my thing right now. It's just, I don't know if I want to go through that again. Like, my pregnancy wasn't hard. Like, I didn't have that bad of morning sickness or those other symptoms. It was easy. It was just the whole prepartum depression that I had, that I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I want to put myself through that again. But I don't know. Maybe I should take a risk.
Take it. Flip a coin. So if we end up pregnant by the end of the year, just know we made a pregnancy pack. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Kim comes back and she's pregnant too.
Oh my god. Yeah.
That'd be funny.
I think it's postpartum. It's a very touchy subject, and it should be talked about a lot more. And I think with me too, I tried breastfeeding, and it was so hard, and I think that got to me too.
Oh yeah.
And because it was like it was still kind of, COVID was barely cooling down, but even when we were in the hospital, like, I only had someone come in once to like help me.
Yeah.
But there was like classes, but it was all online classes.
Yeah,
so what was like
the same.
What's the whole point? Like there was no point. Adrian tried everything. He bought me a pump. We had the manual pump. We tried everything and I just couldn't. And it just got to the point where I was like, I gave up. And I think after that, that's when I got a little bit worse because I felt like I can't even give my baby milk. Like,
yeah. And it sucks too because for me too, like the classes were all online and I was like, I cannot learn like this. I need to see it and I need to be hands-on. Other than that, it won't click.
Yeah.
It just won't click in my brain. And then while at the hospital, I had multiple nurses tell me how to do it differently. And it just got very frustrating. It got very overwhelming because I tried doing it one way and then the other nurse would be like, no, you're doing it wrong. Do it this way. And I would do it that way and still nothing would help. And then I would pump, but even then I wasn't producing enough.
That's how I was too.
And the nurses would tell me like, oh, don't get discouraged. Even if it's like a couple drops, you're fine.
You're like, girl, no, my baby is not eating.
Yeah.
And I had that struggle too at the hospital. This is off topic, but at the hospital, Max, like, I knew he was not eating, like, my poor baby, like, until we had a travel nurse that was a NICU nurse, so she wasn't even part of the hospital.
Yeah.
She came, and I started crying, like, she came over, and she was just like, if you feel like your baby's not eating,
Mhm.
I will get you formula. While
Yeah.
because you know how most hospital now are baby friendly or something, like they want them all just breastfed.
Yeah.
And like none of them wanted me to give them formula until this NICU nurse that wasn't even part of the hospital. She was just a travel nurse.
Mhm.
She was like, "I will get you the formula."
Yeah.
And the minute I got formula, Max freaking downed that freaking bottle. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I
was
knew he was
starving.
hungry.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So yeah.
Yeah, that was with me too. Like the nurses would encourage me a lot to breastfeed, but I just felt like she wasn't eating enough. And finally, one of the nurses was like, "I'll just get you formula. Like, don't stress about it. Like, because if you're stressing about it, that affects
Your milk
like,
and all that.
Yeah. So she's like, don't even worry about it. Like, I'll get you formula. You could try later, or you could start pumping later, and that way it could like supposedly get the flow going, but it didn't work.
Yeah, that's how I was like, yeah, you know what? That was it for me.
Yeah. I do want to try it again because I felt like I gave up too soon.
Yeah, and I think a lot had to do because the classes were literally. I could have just gone on YouTube and looked up how to breastfeed. Like that's literally what it was.
Yeah.
And I feel like now because you know there's really no restrictions anymore.
Mm-mm.
And I'm like, if I were to have another one now, I think I would be able to go to the classes and
Yeah, take advantage that it's all in person now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, and inflation.
Oh my god, I know. What the heck?
Like, and then all this, everything's a shortage now. I'm like, I think I don't got a choice. I'm gonna have to learn how to breastfeed one way or another.
Seriously. I was so glad Leah was like to that point where she was transitioning to milk, regular milk,
Mm-hmm.
because during that time there was a formula shortage.
Yeah, Max had just passed that. He
And
like passed it.
yeah, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god, I just need 2 more months to get formula because after that she'll be on milk and I'll be good. But I was stressing out. I was like, I need milk. I need formula.
You're like, my poor baby.
Seriously. And during that time, they need the formula because
it's all the vitamins and all that they need.
All they need. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, there's no more
I know
formula shortage because
if not
that was
one way or another,
stressful.
we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, like I remember I would see a lot of moms post like on Facebook asking if anyone had formula. And when I first had Leah, like the very first few months, I was getting mailed like little sample formulas.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a whole bunch that I didn't use because she wasn't drinking that formula. And I was like, I need to get rid of these. And that was during the time of inflation. No, the shortage. I'm sorry, the shortage. And I was like, I need to get rid of these. And thankfully, I was able to give them all to like women that needed it because a lot of them were struggling to find it's the orange can.
Oh, it's like AR or something, I think.
I think it's for like allergies or something like that. Yeah, it was like a very hard one to find because it was a formula that a lot of kids needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so glad I was able to give it to moms that needed it because at least it helped them load some stress off.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy. It sucks, but I was happy I didn't have to go through it. I was like, Max was already drinking whole milk.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remember how stressful it was for me and how stressful it must have been for all these other moms.
Yeah. Well, on top of it, to add on, like, I think all this stress that you go through, all these things you got to worry about, also reflects on postpartum and all that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dude, I hope it doesn't pick up her crying.
They're gonna be like, there's a dog in the background. They got Leah locked up. I'm just kidding. No, she's at her grandparents.
Yeah. If you guys hear a dog crying, it's Bingo. She's just sad. She can't be in here. But to end the topic, like we said before, don't be afraid to ask for help. And if you're not sure if it's postpartum, search up the symptoms. Because
even if you think like you're going crazy on the symptoms, it's okay to go to the doctor and tell them.
Yeah.
Like,
ask them for like, hey, let them know how you're feeling. And I think they make you take a test, right? To make sure like how your postpartum is.
At the hospital, they gave me so many papers. Like, I don't even know.
No.
I think I saw something and I was just like, oh, what's this? I don't need to fill it out. Okay. Like, I swear, like, all of the paperwork at the hospital, I did not fill nothing out.
You know what? I think that's why a lot of women don't realize that they have postpartum depression, because once you leave, like once you're discharged,
they give you all the papers.
They give you a bulk of papers, and they're giving you all this information like, oh, you need to go to this appointment, the baby needs this appointment, if you have this symptom, do this, if you have this other symptom, do that. And it's just like an information overload, and you're like, it's not clicking because you're having mom brain and you forget everything. And sometimes you just forget things.
Yeah, they give you a folder. Like, I remember we got copies of all the paperwork that Adrian signed. Like, I don't even know what it was. Like, I swear, I don't know, like, what he signed. I just know he just told me, oh, baby, like, it's this. And then I was like, huh, okay, I guess. I signed it too. Like, all of it. I know all the paperwork. And then they give you, like, little pamphlets. Like, a whole bunch of pamphlets. And you're like, well. And then on top of that, they're trying to get you out of the hospital. So you're over here like, okay.
And then when you're a first-time mom, you're just like, you forget about all that paperwork.
Yeah.
Because you're still trying to manage and learn how to take care of your baby.
You're already freaking out because you're like, I got to take a baby home with me.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. It doesn't come with the manual.
Seriously. It was scary going back home with the newborn.
Dang, I don't know how, like, back in the days, like, my great-grandma, damn, like, I don't know how many kids she had.
I know, right?
Like, I couldn't, like, I think my suegro, Adrian's dad, I think she had, like, 16 kids or something, I swear.
Oh, my God, that's a lot.
Well, your grandma, too.
My grandma...
From your dad's side?
From my dad's side, yeah, I think he had 12.
That's still a lot of kids.
It's a lot.
I don't know. I don't know how these women, well, not just here, like even like in general, a lot of women used to have kids.
Yeah. I don't know. I give props to them.
Yeah, I couldn't do it nowadays.
And I'm pretty sure a lot of them had to like go through it alone and suffer in silence because they had so many kids to take care of.
And I think that's where a lot comes, especially in a Hispanic culture, or a lot of cultures in this point, where it's like the women had to just, brush it off because they couldn't take the time to be like, depressed and stuff like that. They were just kind of like, they were depressed, but at the same time they had 5 other kids they got to worry about,
Yeah.
So I think that's why as we got older, or their kids and stuff, they're just telling them like, you just gotta move forward, like there's no time.
Yeah. And literally, like, there's no time for you to be sad.
Yeah.
Like, you have to keep going.
And it sucks because we should have that time to regulate ourselves, and that's why a lot of times if you think your mom's mean, it's because
they're probably probably going through some issues, or they have like some issues that aren't resolved.
Yeah, and I'd say we're just trying to help ourselves to make our kids not go crazy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's one way to look at it too, is get the help you need so you could be happy and you could have a happy baby.
Yeah.
A happy, healthy baby. Because if you're not okay, you're going to end up taking that anger or frustration
on the baby
or your significant other, and it's not fair. Were we going to end the podcast?
Yeah, so just look out for your friends, anyone you know in your family.
Yeah.
Just reach out if you feel like you have help, just ask for it. Really ask for it. Or even if you need to go schedule a doctor's appointment, go see your doctor.
Yeah, definitely see your doctor. And if you're not 100% sure, always ask your doctor, ask a friend, a coworker, a family member, anyone. And it's gonna be hard, but you'll get through it.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, just know that it's gonna be okay. And
take a deep breath. Walk away if you need to for 10 seconds. You're better off just leaving a screaming baby for 10 seconds, gathering yourself back, and just go back to the baby. Yes. It's okay to do that too.
Yeah, because I know, like, a lot of the times moms get frustrated and they shake their baby, and that's not good either.
So just take time to yourself. Even if you're alone, like I said, just if you hear a screaming baby, just walk away for a little bit, gather yourself, drink water, just take a deep breath, and then go back to what you needed to go do. Baby's okay crying and screaming for a few, even a couple minutes. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It really is okay. It's either leave the baby crying or hurt your baby.
Yeah, and we don't want you guys, to hurt your baby.
Yeah. But yeah, don't get discouraged. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Always reach out. And even if you feel like you don't have a friend, you could always reach out to us.
Yeah.
We'll be there for you.
Yes.
Hit us up on our DMs.
Slide in our DMs.
Yeah. Not that way though. But yeah, we're here if you need a friend. Either through Instagram, our email is also available, or if you want to be anonymous,
on the Google form.
Yeah, we just won't be able to get to you right away. It would have to be until an episode is up. But yeah, hang in there, mamas. You're doing a great job. Yes. Don't get discouraged. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
You got this.
Yeah, you guys got this. Okay, now we're gonna move on onto our game segment.
Yes. I do one thing or another. Okay, let's see. Would you rather have another 10 years with your partner or a one-night stand with your celebrity crush?
That's a hard one.
I didn't know that was going to be a hard one, but okay.
Just kidding. Oh my god, Ricky's listening to this like, what the fuck? Obviously 10 years with my significant other.
She'll tell me the real answer after. I'm just kidding.
I'll be like, I would have the one night stand. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding, babe. I would pick 10 more years with you. Okay, let's see. Would you rather always have BO and not know it, or always smell BO on everyone else?
I would rather smell BO on everyone else.
Oh, really?
I don't think I would want to know if I smell.
Yeah, that's true. That would be embarrassing.
Like, I don't want people to be like, oh my gosh, she smells. I mean,
and you're like
I'd rather smell other people. Like, I'd rather be like, they smell.
Yeah.
But I don't smell. I know it's them. I'm not gonna know. Okay. Would you rather work an overtime shift with your annoying boss or spend a full day with your mother-in-law?
Oh, that's easy. I would spend it with my mother-in-law.
You're like, I ain't staying overtime.
But my boss isn't that bad either. Well, actually, it depends.
You're like, my boss, they'll actually make me work, okay?
Yeah. Let's see. Would you rather walk in on your parents or have them walk in on you?
I'd rather walk in on them because I'm okay going to therapy for life. I'm okay on that. I don't know how I would feel about them walking in on me. That's a whole nother thing.
Like they're you the talk.
I know they're over here freaking seeing agents' butt cheeks. Like I don't think no. Like I would rather walk in on them. Like no.
Oh, that's funny.
Would you rather always have a full phone battery, or a full gas tank?
Oh, I think I would have a gas tank.
Yeah.
Full gas tank because gas prices are crazy. Would you rather be able to take anything you say? Would you rather be able to take back anything you say or hear any conversation that is about you?
Hear any conversation that's about me. Trying to hear the tea y'all saying.
Right? Like, what are they talking shit?
Like, if I say something, then I can't take it back. Well, I already said it, so.
That's so sad. Deal with it.
This is the end of the game segment.
And yeah, this is pretty much it for today's episode. We hope you guys liked it.
If you have any comments, go ahead and DM us. The Google form
is also available.
Yes.
You could also comment on the YouTube videos.
Oh yeah. Comment, like, subscribe. Shout us out. Oh, and thanks to all the new followers that we have. We have a few new followers.
Oh, on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too. My phone was going crazy.
So I've been more active, since we got permission to be on Instagram, I've been the one that's been more active, so yeah. I've been posting and stuff. So
yeah, and that helps out a lot because I try to be active, but then I'm like, oh shit, I have to do this, I have to do that, and I just I'll be active for a couple days,
yeah,
and then after that I just go ghost.
Yeah, and if I respond to you at 2 a.m, it's because I work overnight and nobody's awake at 2 a.m. So thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah, we hope you guys liked it, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.